If you've ever walked away from a situation feeling belittled or undervalued, this video will change the way you handle those moments forever. Have you ever found yourself in one of those uncomfortable moments where someone throws out a cutting comment or a sarcastic jab in front of others? Maybe it was framed like a joke, but it clearly wasn't funny to you. You stood there, trying to process the sting of disrespect, while others just awkwardly looked on or laughed in that moment. A question rises up. How do I respond in a way that protects my dignity and earns respect? Not just from the person who insulted you, but from everyone watching, including those who usually dismiss or overlook your value. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. We've all faced these situations that test our confidence and composure. And here's the good news. You have far more control than you think. In today's video, we're diving deep into practical strategies and psychological insights inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These aren't just tips for staying calm there. Techniques that can help you earn lasting respect from the people around you. Stick with us, because by the end of this video, you'll learn how to turn moments of public discomfort into quiet victories where your presence speaks louder than any comeback ever could. Let's begin by asking why you often find yourself in these situations in the first place. In many cases, it's not because people dislike you or carry personal grudges. The truth is more subtle and more common. Some individuals feel the need to elevate themselves by pushing others down. They see opportunities to make someone else appear weak or awkward, so they can momentarily shine. This kind of opportunism doesn't just show up in the workplace, it can happen among friends, even in families. And Stoicism teaches us something powerful here. Respect isn't demanded. It's demonstrated, as Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In moments like these, your calm is your weapon. Your composure is your armor. But this isn't just about reacting well in the moment. It's about building a reality where people know deep down that disrespecting you won't lift them up. You create an environment where people naturally treat you with respect, because they see how steady, grounded, and unshakable you are. They realize you know your worth, and you won't flinch just because someone throws a cheap remark your way. So get ready. You're about to learn how to apply Stoic principles in everyday life through small, powerful habits that shift how people treat you. And if you've ever felt underestimated, dismissed, or emotionally thrown off balance, this episode will give you something better than revenge: respect, earned with grace. Now let's explore how to handle disrespect, not with aggression, but with silent strength and strategic calm. Let's begin with the first key tip. First impressions matter a lot. Your very first interaction with someone often sets the tone for how they will see you moving forward. And surprisingly, it's not always about the words you choose. It's often more about how you present yourself in that moment. Imagine this. You're at an important networking event. The room is filled with professionals, conversations buzz. Around you, someone new walks in, scans the crowd, and heads in your direction. They smile, extend their hand to greet you. But instead of standing up, you stay seated. You glance quickly at their hand, give it a half-hearted shake, and offer a weak smile. What just happened? Without realizing it, you've sent a silent message, one that says, "This moment isn't that important to me." You didn't say those words out loud, but your body did. Small actions like this have a huge impact, and the Stoics, they understood this deeply. To them, even the simplest gesture like standing up and making eye contact was more than just etiquette. It was a reflection of character, a way to communicate presence, awareness, and self. When you stand to greet someone, what you're actually doing is communicating three powerful things: gives equality, gives readiness, gives mutual respect. This aligns beautifully with a key Stoic principle. How you present yourself outwardly reflects the values you hold inwardly. Let me share a quick story. I once attended a professional seminar focused entirely on networking. The room was full of sharp, driven individuals. Among them, one man stood out not because of his title or his flashy clothes, but because of his presence. Whether he was shaking hands with a senior executive or simply thanking a server for a coffee refill, he always stood up. He made eye contact. He gave the moment his full attention. He didn't overdo it. He wasn't trying too hard. But people noticed. Why? Because his actions projected confidence, sincerity, and respect without a single word. He earned admiration, not by speaking loudly, but by showing up fully in contrast. There was another attendist, as intelligent, just as qualified, but he never stood during greetings. He remained seated, offered quiet nods. He didn't mean to be rude. It was simply a habit. But the unspoken result, people took him less seriously, not because of what he lacked, but because of how he appeared to value the interaction. And that's the lesson. Standing up isn't just about politeness. It's a statement. It says, I see you, I see myself, and this moment matters. Now let's tie it back to Stoicism. Stoics didn't waste time worrying about things beyond their control. They focused on what was within their reach, their thoughts, their actions, their presence, and this how you greet someone, how you carry yourself is completely within your control. So how can you apply this? Start with the small stuff. When you meet someone, whether at the office, in a cafe, or even on a video call, be fully present. Stand up when possible. Look them in the eyes. Use your posture and your expression to project calm, quiet confidence. These gestures seem minor, but they're powerful. They quietly communicate your value, your respect for others, and most importantly, your respect for yourself. Remember, first impressions aren't about being perfect. They're about being intentional. And that's the essence of Stoicism. Live with purpose. Pay attention to the little things. Let your quiet actions define who you are. So, the next time you meet someone, rise to the occasion. Look them in the eye. And let your actions speak louder than any clever words ever could. When someone cuts you off mid-sentence, especially in front of others, the natural reaction for most people is to get irritated or respond sharply. But here's the problem: this kind of reaction often only escalates the situation and makes you appear emotionally unstable or reactive. So what should you do instead? This is where Stoic philosophy truly shines. It teaches you how to hold your ground with calmness and authority, without ever needing to raise your voice or get defensive. Stoicism reminds us, true strength doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from mastering ourselves. So in that moment, instead of firing back, take a breath. Turn to the person who interrupted you and meet their gaze with calm, unwavering focus. Let the silence do the talking. That steady, composed look is more powerful than words. You're sending a clear message. That was inappropriate and I don't accept being disrespected. You haven't raised your voice. You haven't shown anger. But you've just taken full control of the moment. I remember a personal example at a family dinner. I was in the middle of telling a funny story when a relative jumped in with their own anecdote, cutting me off. At first, I felt a bit flustered, but instead of interrupting back or forcing my way in, I paused. I looked at them calmly and simply waited. That short silence, just a few seconds, carried more weight than anything I could have said. They quickly realized they had cut in at the wrong time. They paused, smiled, and motioned for me to continue. The rest of the evening flowed smoothly. I didn't have to fight for the floor or create tension. I simply reclaimed the moment with presence. This strategy is especially effective in group settings or public conversations. When you stay composed, you naturally draw attention and assert control, not by being louder, but by being steadier. Stoicism teaches us never to let someone else's behavior dictate our emotions. Instead, we use tools like body language and quiet authority to shape the tone of any interaction without losing our dignity. And remember, that gaze is just the beginning. Once the interruption has passed, calmly return to your point. You might say something as simple as, "Let me pick up where I left off." This one sentence does two things. It asserts your right to speak, and it maintains respect for everyone in the room. Because the goal here isn't to embarrass the other person. It's to set a clear boundary that's respectful. Communication is non-negotiable. What's powerful about this approach is that it requires no aggression, no intimidation. You stay calm, you don't act out of ego, and your actions speak louder than any comeback ever could. When people see how you handle interruptions with confidence, intention, and control, they'll respect you more, and they'll start adjusting how they treat you. Stoicism reminds us, real power lies in self-control, even when it's hardest to maintain. So next time someone interrupts, you don't lose your cool. Stand firm, hold your gaze, and show the room that you are someone worth listening to. Because this isn't just about earning respect. It's about communicating your self-worth in a way that's meaningful, quiet, and lasting. I remember one particular time during a reunion with some old school friends. The mood was light, the conversations were flowing, until one friend suddenly brought up an embarrassing story from our school days, clearly meant to get a laugh at my expense. It was one of those memories I would have preferred stayed buried. Immediately, I felt my face flush with heat. My first instinct, to fire back, maybe with a sarcastic remark or a defensive comeback. But in that moment, a Stoic principle echoed in my mind. What doesn't harm your essence is not worth your concern. So, instead of reacting emotionally, I smiled. I acted like I hadn't fully heard what was said and responded calmly. "Sorry, could you repeat that?" My tone was neutral, even slightly curious-like. I wasn't bothered at all, and then something fascinating happened. As the person tried to retell the story, its impact completely faded. The loud laughter that had burst out moments earlier quickly died down. The storyteller stumbled over their words, realizing the joke had lost its punch. Suddenly, the whole room could feel the awkwardness, and the attempt at humiliation quietly fell flat. The brilliance of this approach lies in its simplicity. By asking someone to repeat their joke, you do two things. You reduce its emotional weight. You show everyone that you're completely unshaken. Instead of retaliating or appearing flustered, you maintain composure and gently shine a light on their inappropriate behavior. Even more importantly, you shift the power dynamic in your favor without losing dignity, without becoming hostile, and without playing their game. This is one of the fundamental lessons of Stoic philosophy: to remain calm and in control, even in the face of minor provocations. So how can you apply this in your own life? First, Train yourself not to react instantly. Pause, breathe, think. A short moment of stillness gives you the space to choose your response, rather than letting your emotions lead. Second, use silence as a strategic tool. Silence is not weakness. It's space for the other person to feel the weight of their own actions. And finally, when you do respond with calm clarity. A simple line like, "Can you say that again?" spoken in a composed, neutral voice, often lands with far more impact than any heated reply. Stoicism teaches us that our reactions in difficult moments reveal our inner values and self-mastery. Every time you stay calm and choose not to feed the negativity, you strengthen your own self-respect and gain the respect of those around you. So, the next time someone tries to make a joke at your expense in front of others, remember this: you have complete control over how the story ends. And with poise, clarity, and inner strength, you will always walk away with the final word. When you refuse to give the other person the satisfaction of seeing you upset, you strip away the reward. They were seeking emotional control over you. This is a perfect demonstration of practicing Stoic principles. Focus on what you can control, and don't let external circumstances disturb your inner peace. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. What makes this technique so brilliant is its ability to disrupt negativity without confrontation. A simple, well-timed, unrelated question cuts off the instigator's train of thought, making it nearly impossible for them to continue their attempt to provoke you. At the same time, it allows you to stay composed, grounded, and in full control, projecting a quiet confidence that often speaks louder than any clever comeback. This is how you earn real respect in social situations, not by clashing, but by showing you don't need to make this approach truly work. Your tone and demeanor must feel natural and unforced. If your response seems calculated or stiff, it could come off as insincere. So choose a simple, neutral question that fits organically into the moment. It could be something like, "Do you know any good restaurants around here?" Or, "Did anyone catch the game last night?" Even a light comment like, "The lighting in this place is really nice." The point isn't to awkwardly avoid the situation, but to subtly redirect the energy in the room calmly and effortlessly. What's powerful is that this technique doesn't just help you in the moment. It also helps you build long-term emotional resilience and inner strength. By refusing to be pulled into emotional conflict, you prove to yourself and others that you are in control, and people notice. Over time, they will come to respect your presence and composure more deeply. More importantly, when you choose to use this technique, you're reinforcing one of the core values of Stoicism. Focus on what's within your control. You can't dictate how others behave, but you can always choose how you respond. And by doing so, you protect your self-worth and send a powerful message. You will not allow anyone to shake your peace or dignity. So the next time someone throws a hurtful or provoking remark your way, remember this technique. Ask a calm, unrelated question and watch how the dynamic shifts. You won't just diffuse the tension, you'll feel stronger for having risen above it. As Marcus Aurelius beautifully reminded us, true power comes from maintaining peace of mind, regardless of external circumstances. And once you master this approach, you won't just handle difficult moments with grace. You'll elevate the way people see you in every room you enter. After leaving her former, stressful job, Sarah joined a new company, this time in a leadership position. There, she wasn't just respected, she was celebrated for the very talents that were once overlooked. Sarah's story isn't just about leaving. It's about choosing where to invest your energy, and more importantly, where not to. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it's a powerful declaration. I understand my worth, and I will not remain in a place that fails to honor it. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only thing we truly control is how we respond to life's circumstances. You can't force others to respect you, but you can choose not to stay in environments where respect is consistently absent. What makes walking away so powerful is that it isn't loud. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It's a quiet but decisive action. It's a moment where you say to yourself, I deserve better than this. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. To remain in a disrespectful environment is to slowly allow others to chip away at your value. So how do you know when it's time to walk away? It's when you realize that your efforts to build respect have been met with silence, dismissal, or indifference. When you constantly feel like you're fighting just to be heard or seen. When your presence is tolerated but never appreciated. Don't wait until your self-worth is worn thin. Listen to your inner voice. And when it tells you enough is enough, choose to leave. Because sometimes an absence that is respected is better than a presence that is diminished. Walking away is not surrender. It's a boundary, a powerful one. It's a way of protecting your dignity, your emotional space, and your mental well-being. Stoic philosophy reminds us, it's not just about managing your emotions. It's also about preserving your sense of worth. So the next time you find yourself in a space where you're being devalued or dismissed, remember this: sometimes the most self-respecting action you can take is to leave the table where your worth isn't recognized. Respect should never be begged for. It is earned by how you choose to treat yourself. I'd love to hear your journey. If this message resonated with you, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and drop a comment below. Share your story, your challenges, or simply say, I can do it. Let that be your mark of completion for today's session. Your voice helps grow this community, one that's centered on wisdom, emotional strength, and the art of turning hardship into growth. I'm leaving 2 more videos here so you can continue your journey toward personal mastery and inner peace. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.